Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing the entire history, as we know it, of number 12 Grimmauld Place. As the ancestral home of the Black family, number 12 Grimmauld Place is portrayed in both the books and the films as a rather decrepit and dreary townhouse, befitting of the dark wizard who called it home for the better part of 2 centuries. Located in a predominantly Muggle neighbourhood northwest London, near King's Cross Station, the townhouse was originally owned by non-magical folks. While the exact date that number 12 was built is unknown, we can assume that it would have been around the same era as the townhouses in Claremont Square that we used to film the Grimmauld Place scenes in the Harry Potter movies. In fact, the Claremont Square townhouses have been rumoured to be the inspiration behind the Black's family home in the novels. These real-life houses were constructed between 1815 and 1828. So, with this assumption that they represent the inspiration for the fictional number 12 Grimmauld Place, I think it's safe to conclude that the Black's family home was also built during that same Georgian era. As it were, the townhouse was actually rather large, with the front entrance, ground floor, basement, and 4 additional upper floors, and possibly even an attic. The front door was outfitted with a silver knocker shaped like a serpent, and the door itself could only be opened by magic, as it had neither a handle nor a keyhole. Upon entering the house, it became quite obvious that the decor had not been updated in decades. Gas lamps lit the rooms, and hand-painted portraits lined the walls. The carpet was worn and the wallpaper was peeling. Among the portraits was one very prominent portrayal of Sirius Black's mother, Walburga, who had her likeness made into a very large portrait in which she stuck to the wall with a permanent sticking charm. As her portrait self, she was known to yell at passerbyers whom she identified as not pure-blooded witches or wizards. The Black family crest could always be found around the house, which included the motto Toujours pur, meaning always pure in French. On the first floor of the house was a wall completely covered by a tapestry portrayal of the Black family tree. In a rage against her son for not supporting the family values, Walburga burned Sirius's face off the tapestry, presumably after he ran away from home. In terms of the house's history, from what we know, a Muggle family originally purchased the house sometime during the Georgian Era. However, one of the Black family members at the time decided that he very much liked the look of number 12 and decided to persuade the owners to move out. Based on the fact that the majority of the House of Black dabbled in dark magic and were known to be incredibly prejudiced towards Muggles, it's unlikely that this persuasion, as it were, was done kindly, especially considering how many members of the Black family were known to go out and perform harmful spells like the Cruciatus Curse on Muggles, just for fun. Imagine what one would do when they actually wanted something from a Muggle. In any case, the Black family gained possession of number 12 Grimmauld Place likely sometime in the mid-1800s. Upon taking ownership of the townhouse, the wizard in question placed a number of spells on the dwelling in order to hide it from Muggle view. In fact, to the majority of the neighbourhood, number 12 Grimmauld Place didn't even exist, as all they were able to see was number 11 and number 13, an assumed mistake by the Muggle community. Although not explicitly recorded or stated anywhere, it seems quite possible to trace ownership of number 12 Grimmauld Place back to when the family originally took possession of the house. Due to the fact that Sirius Black, Harry's godfather, refers to Grimmauld Place as his mother's house, it seems rather likely that the house was passed down through his maternal side. She was, after all, a member of the Black family just like her husband Orion, but more on that in just a moment. In any case, Walburga Black was the eldest daughter of Pollux Black and Irma Crabbe. Pollux, who was born in 1912, was the eldest child of Cygnus Black II and Violetta Bulstrode, and Cygnus was born to Phineas Nigellus Black and Ursula Flint in 1889. That said, even if the house was not passed down to Sirius through his mother's side, and it was actually through his father's side, it would hardly matter. As you see, Orion Black's lineage can also be traced back to Phineas Nigellus Black and Ursula Flint, through Orion's father Arcturus Black III, whose father was Sirius Black II, whose parents were, you guessed it, Phineas Nigellus Black and Ursula Flint, meaning that Sirius's parents shared the same great-grandparents. And so, it seems rather likely that Phineas Nigellus Black and Ursula Flint were among the first members of the House of Black to own number 12 Grimmauld Place. Phineas, who lived from 1847 to 1925, and Ursula had 5 children together: Sirius, Phineas, Arcturus, Belvina, and Cygnus. And regardless of whether it was Sirius or Cygnus who eventually took possession of the house after their parents passed, seems rather irrelevant to me, considering that the Black family, in an attempt to keep their precious bloodline pure, were known to often marry their own cousins, as was the case with Sirius's parents, Orion and Walburga. From Sirius or Cygnus, the house would have likely passed on to either Arcturus Black III or Pollux Black. As Arcturus and Pollux died in 1991 and 1990, respectively, and Orion or Walburga were both already dead by this point, I would assume that the house had already been given to either Orion or Walburga well before the deaths of either of their fathers. What we do know for certain is that by the 1990s, the house belonged to Sirius. Sirius grew up in number 12 Grimmauld Place with his parents and younger brother, Regulus. By the time he was 16 and had spent several years as a Gryffindor at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, he chose to run away, as he did not share the Black family's prejudiced views on Muggles, Squibs, and those without pure magical bloodlines. His father, Orion, died a few years later in the late 1970s, and his mother continued to live alone in the house, save for Kreacher, the Black family's house elf. As Regulus died trying to destroy one of Lord Voldemort's Horcruxes in 1979, upon their mother's death in 1985, the house became Sirius's, as he was her only surviving descendant. Sirius, who was imprisoned in Azkaban in the early 1980s after he was wrongfully accused of mass murder, did not occupy the home until the mid-1990s. During his absence, Kreacher the house elf was the only being who lived there, tending to the upkeep of the home as best he could, which, as it turned out, was rather poor. In 1995, Sirius offered number 12 Grimmauld Place as the headquarters for the newly reformed Order of the Phoenix. At this time, additional safety measures, such as the Fidelius Charm, were added at the house by Dumbledore and other members of the Order, as described by Sirius in the following passage. It's ideal for headquarters, of course. My father put every security measure known to wizard kind on it when he lived here. It's unplottable, so Muggles can never come and call, as if they'd ever have wanted to, and now Dumbledore's added his protection. You'd be hard put to find a safer house anywhere. In 1996, after Sirius died, the house passed down to his godson, who was, of course, Harry Potter. The Order of the Phoenix continued to use the townhouse as its headquarters until Dumbledore's death in 1997, when they evacuated permanently. This was due to the fact that Severus Snape was believed to have murdered Dumbledore and betrayed the Order, and since he knew where number 12 Grimmauld was located, the location was no longer safe for the group to use. At this time, Kreacher once again took up sole residence, kept company only by the myriad of enchantments meant to harm Snape should he return to the townhouse. This, of course, excludes the few weeks when Harry, Ron and Hermione stayed there in 1997, as they attempted to sort out Voldemort's Horcruxes. Unfortunately, their stay was cut short after accidentally revealing its location to a Death Eater. If number 12 Grimmauld Place is still standing, it's assumed that the house remains in Harry Potter's name to this day. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. What did you think? Did I miss anything? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.